In 2019, the Indian government disavows Article 370, which awards unique status for Jammu and Kashmir. The news influences a malignant, growth-ridden Pakistani armed force general, Qadir, who chooses to correct retaliation against India. He signs an agreement with Jim, who drives Outfit X, a confidential psychological oppressor association. In the interim, Pathan, a previous crude specialist, and his senior official Nandini Gruel open a unit named the Joint Tasks and Undercover Exploration (JOCR) unit to enlist previous crude specialists who had to resign because of past injury, yet need to serve the country. With Crude Joint Secretary, Colonel Sunil Luthra's acknowledgement, Pathan and his group head to Dubai to stop Outfit X's arrangements of going after the leader of India at a logical meeting. Nonetheless, they understand that their real arrangement was to seize two researchers, Dr. Faruqui and Dr. Sahani, all things being equal, and the data they got about the unavoidable assault on the president was a ploy to delude them. Jim assaults the researcher's guard, and Pathan attempts to stop him. A battle results, where Jim figures out how to escape with Dr. Sahani. At the post-op interview back at the organization, Luthra uncovers that Jim was a previous crude specialist, who was granted with the Veer Puraskar for his dauntlessness after the office couldn't find his body when Somalian fearmongers killed his better half and unborn kid in a discussion turned out badly. He had evidently faked his passing to look for retribution against the office and country for not saving his loved ones. In the meantime, Pathan finds out about the code word named Rakt Beej, and furthermore that the dead individuals in Dubai were ex-specialists, and their cash was moved from the record of Rubina Mohsin, Rubai, a Pakistani specialist in Spain. He goes to Spain and is caught by Jim's men, where he likewise discovers that Rubai is an ex-ISI specialist. At the point when Jim leaves his hideaway, Rubai assaults Jim's men and departures with Pathan. Rubai uncovers that Rakt Beej is in Moscow, where they travel to take it before Jim does. In any case, Rubai sells out Pathan and has him caught by the police. It is uncovered that Jim utilized Rubai to make Pathan take the Rakt Beej for himself. Pathan is caught and brought to jail via train, however is saved by Avinash Singh, Tiger Rathore. After 3 years, Pathan goes to Africa and catches Jim's cohort Roth. He meets Nandini and uncovers about Jim buying 2 Sabre rockets, while Nandini uncovers Rubai's area in Paris. Pathan meets Rubai, who uncovers that the Rakt Beej is a transformed smallpox infection, which was effectively evolved by a hostage doctor Sahani compelled. She likewise communicates culpability about selling out Pathan, without realizing that her nation would plan such an intolerable assault. They travel to Jim's lab in Siberia and figure out how to recuperate one sphere containing the infection with extraordinary trouble, while Jim escapes with the other circle. Luthra and Nandini arrive at Jim's lab to return the sphere to India to foster an immunization. Luthra additionally has Rubai captured for having sketchy loyalties. At the Indian Foundation of Infectious Illnesses, IICD, Dr. Faruqui shows the circle to Nandini. Jim calls them and uncovers that the sphere has proactively spread the infection in the office. The tainted researchers, alongside Nandini, bite the dust in the office by shooting themselves to control the spread of the infection. Afterward, the office is obliterated in a controlled impact. Jim gives a final proposal to clear Indian warriors out of Kashmir in 24 hours or less. Pathan grills Roth about the area of the rocket and discovers that the rocket is arranged in Afghanistan. Subsequent to protecting Rubai, they draw Jim's partners into a snare and assault Jim's base. Qadir was killed by Rubai after he actuated the rocket containing the infection. Pathan pursues Jim with a jetpack, and the two of them crash land into a lodge. In the meantime, Rubai deactivates the rocket, yet observes that Rakt Beej isn't in the rocket, however rather in a traveler-bound plane, which is going to land in Delhi. She illuminates Pathan, who finds that Jim has the detonator. Luthra calls the aviation authority to keep the plane from arriving in Delhi. In the lodge, Pathan and Jim battle fiercely, bringing about the lodge starts sliding off a precipice. In spite of getting cut by Jim, Pathan takes the detonator deactivates Raktbij, and tosses Jim out of the lodge as the establishment is going to break. While Jim clutches aboard, Pathan removes his Veer Puraskar, considering him disgraceful of it. He steps and breaks the board Jim was clutching, bringing about him tumbling to his obvious passing. A short time later, Pathan is re-established into Crude and made as the head of Joe CR, while Nandini is post-mortem granted with the Veer Puraskar for her valiance. In a mid-credits scene, Pathan and Tiger are seen contemplating about resigning and proposing youthful specialists who can supplant them, however at last choose to continue to battle the actual dangers.